Sunshine Flying. You can call me Tia, and today we are working on a build in San Myshuno that will go with all my renovations in my save file. And this is inspired by a home that I found on, I think it was a Facebook group, but I don't remember exactly which one. So for those of you who don't know, I actually joined a Facebook group that is just about sharing beautiful houses, old and new, and just unique places. And that really has inspired a lot of builds, but this one in particular I really loved. And it is a home in, I think, Kentucky, and it was basically a old warehouse. It was a warehouse or a factory. I'm pretty sure it was a warehouse though, that was converted into a home. Now, I did have to get a little bit creative with it because it was on a very wide and thin lot, and there weren't really many lots like that to choose from. So I did have to adjust the building a little bit, but I tried to preserve the general vibe of the place, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And so what I did in this build was I ended up using a lot of industrial stuff that I don't usually use. Also had to do a bunch of landscaping just because this build really didn't fill the whole lot. And I will link below in the description the original post that inspired this place. I believe it was in the group for the Love of Old Houses. So if you are on Facebook or in any groups that do look at old places, that is where you will find this one. And it was just so much fun. This place is so unique. And just kind of seeing how it was converted from what it was before to what it is now was just really cool. And so I really love how it turned out, and I hope that you do too, and it will be on the gallery for download if you are interested. So one of the features of this place is that there is a slightly raised platform in the middle, which will become the kitchen and dining area. There is kind of a living and entertainment area on the shorter side, or the shorter wing, and then the longer wing is everything else. So the living spaces like bedrooms, bathrooms, and a laundry room. And this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, so pretty spacious, and can accommodate a fair amount of Sims, especially because I put 2 double beds, so you could have, you know, some roommates in here, uni students, whatever, what have you. And it's just super eclectic and interesting. There's a lot of, the house itself that was listed on the website where I found it had a ton of really interesting clutter. And I could only replicate some of it in the game, but I did really try to replicate the original build. The most unique piece, I would say, being the gargoyle statue inside. But I was able to replicate that thanks to the Vampires pack, I believe. And they had a bar inside. They had some art posters on the walls, stained glass windows, and everything was just very industrial looking. This also made me really wish that there was a way that we could customize what the ceiling looks like in these places, because this one had just an exposed ceiling where you could see the ductwork inside. There wasn't so much like pillars and stuff, because I did think about doing that, but it just didn't quite fit the vibe as well as like pipes would have, so I just kind of left it as is. The place also had a bunch of ceiling fans, and so thankfully, because of island living, I was also able to incorporate those. The kitchen itself is fairly interesting. It isn't a layout I've ever done before, but it had like a kitchen bar, it had a fridge kind of tucked away in the corner, had some seating at the bar, and it was just a little bit up from everything else. But it has everything you need to cook and a little bit of clutter around, and yeah, it's just a really overall interesting industrial build. It also had a lot of windows on the inside, So you'll see me putting those throughout. I put one over the fridge. There will also be some in some of the bedrooms and stuff. And that was another unique feature of this place that I have seen in other apartments and other homes, but it's not something that you see super often. So it was really fun putting that in here and just finding all the odd eclectic things that we could put into this build. So I'm really curious to know what you think of this when you watch this. So I would love it if you'd put in the comments below what you thought of this place. It's one of my first attempts at an industrial build as well. So if you had any feedback, advice, comments, etc. on my industrial building, that would also be super helpful. Just kind of finishing up the dining room here, putting in a hutch, and I really love that magic carpet rug. I know it has probably a different purpose. I don't know. I don't do a lot of gameplay, but it was really a nice touch in there. So I will end up swapping the two bathrooms. So one will be 2 wide and the other will be 3 wide. And I ended up switching where they are so the master bedroom could have the larger bathroom. But just used a lot of colorful appliances, some of that painted brick in some of the bedrooms, and not every wall had windows. It was kind of odd to me that this long hallway didn't have some, so I actually went against what the build itself had and added in a couple of windows, but I tried not to go too overboard just to kind of preserve the same spirit of the place. Because it was a warehouse, it probably had no need for windows there. Maybe it was storage. I'm not totally sure what the place looked like before it was turned into a home. But overall, I think, even with the changes, it's stayed very true to the type of build it was initially. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out, and I'm really curious to hear what you think. They had some signs throughout, they had a lot of artwork on the walls. And one of my favorite parts about this, and you'll see me build it here and then move it over, was the shower. So it's a fairly large shower, actually. Lots of, it had glass walls instead of any sort of tile or anything. And it was just a nice, large, spacious shower. I have a feeling that the build itself, I couldn't really get a good look from the pictures, probably had a rainfall shower head. Which of course we can't really replicate in The Sims, so I just put in the snowy escape shower, and I thought that was a nice touch, and was as close probably to the original as we could get. Here in the master bedroom, it was a pretty eccentric looking space, bookshelf and some mismatched side tables. It also ends up having a divider between the bed and the desk space. Now in the original build, that divider is actually a bookshelf, but we don't really have bookshelf dividers in the game, so I just put in a regular one, and it'll look a little weird in the screenshots because of that mirror on the wall, but it's just a way to fill that space as well. And I think if I did change anything, I would probably take that out and just put like an ottoman at the end of the bed, or maybe a straighter divider, or some of those wood planks that came with, I believe, City Living, but I don't remember for sure. But just something a little bit different that would look a little less overwhelming in the screenshots. I did in the bathroom end up making the shower a little bit smaller, just because this build also had a really interesting setup for the master bathroom, and that was that the closet was included in the bathroom. And so this was the perfect opportunity to use the new Dream Home Designer stuff. One of the big critiques I have is that I really, really, really wish you could go around a corner with it, just like you can with kitchen countertops. I was a little bummed that you could not. But it is what it is, and I can always use regular kitchen countertops too. It just won't really match anything else. But maybe that is something that I will play with in the future. I also have another build coming up where I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the new Dream Home Decorator pack. Just in terms of build mode perspective, I have not done the gameplay. I very rarely do gameplay in The Sims. I am almost always building something. So if you are looking for gameplay content, I am sorry, this is probably not the channel for you. But I will happily talk about the build mode aspect of any packs that come out. So I don't like putting like initial thoughts out there. I am one of those people who would much rather use it for a while and see if maybe my first issues were just a fluke, because that is definitely something that has happened to me before. So it's not that I'm not interested in doing critiques or reviews necessarily. It's just that my personal philosophy is that I would much rather play it for like a month or so before I put my ideas out there. Also because everyone and their sister is doing critiques and reviews of new packs when they first come out, and there's just information overload, and I personally don't really want to contribute to that. I would rather watch those, kind of see how other people are experiencing the game. And it's also much more helpful for me, I think, when I am getting used to a new pack, learning kind of the ins and outs of how everything works. It also helps me figure out how to work around some of the little quirks that I encounter. So that's just something keep in mind for builds going forward as well. I'm not really planning on doing critiques or reviews as soon as they come out. Unless I get sponsored or something for it, I am just going to keep downloading the packs right away, playing them right away, seeing how they go, and then giving thoughts after about a month or two, depending on how much I am able to use them and play them. So that is just kind of something that has come up in the comments recently, and I just wanted to clear that up on why I haven't and when I will start to kind of give my thoughts on things like that. And so do bear with me as I am kind of working through how this whole channel is going to work and end up looking, but that is something that I can tell you for sure is how I will handle all new pack releases. I just want to give them a fair shot and a fair chance. I am one of those players who needs a bit of time to adjust to new items, the way new things work, and so it just personally would not be fair of me to sit and critique something on my first or second attempt of playing it when I know that it is probably user error rather than EA. If I play it for a while, around a month or so, then I can kind of tease out what the actual game quirks are versus just like me and my issues. So I hope you understand, and I hope that you will still stick around, watch videos, and patiently wait for when I do feel comfortable critiquing packs. Until then, I hope you continue to enjoy my builds and renovations. This build is one of my absolute favorites. I am so happy with how it turned out, and I would love to hear what you think as well down in the comments below. If you have not already, I would so appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. My channel is so small and just starting to grow, and your support really helps me out with that. Otherwise, I don't really have many more remarks to make on this particular build, so we're just kind of taking a look at some screenshots here before we head out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye!